Adelaide Australian Sports Sedan Championship, and John Briggs in the Honda Prelude well away. Interesting cars in this mix, Howard Marsden.
Yeah, 650 horsepower between 900 and 1100 kilograms, about 2 seconds a lap faster than the Group A boys. Excellent little vehicles. Big
brake lock up to there from Danny Osborne as he came in under the Shell Bridge, but you've got Briggs in the Honda Prelude, leading Kerry Bailey in the Supra, who's running second in the Australian Sports Sedan Championship. Field of 12 cars at this stage. You've got Monterosso in the Ford Escort. Big V8 engine Ford Escort running second, but that's Briggs, the Honda Prelude. A lot of money spent on this car, over 600 horsepower, as you say, and very fast.
The size of the cars is now getting important. The Prelude and the Escort, smaller cars, in the Supra, then the Commodores. These little cars with 650 horsepower seem to be the way to go.
Bailey now, up behind Monterosso. An old Ford Escort body, but a brand new engine, developing a lot of power, and really has been around a long time, car number 2. We'll follow him around the track. He's been around for a long, long time, Monterosso. Comes from South Australia, a mid-mounted Chev 350 engine, top speed of some 290 kilometres per hour, has a Hewland 5-speed transaxle. Body is made up of aluminium, fibre, glass and steel. And a car that is struggling to keep Bailey's Supra behind him.
Yes, that transaxle will just explain. They've got the engine at the front, but the gearbox is at the back across the back axle. That gets better weight transfer between the cars, better balance. Cars are very specialised.
Spent around $150,000. And a brake lock up from Monterosso. Yes, he's gone off into the sand. Plenty of power trying to drive it out of the sand pit. Back on the track. But what happened there, Howard? Came in too deep under brakes.
We were mentioning before, the Supra's better under brakes than the Escort, better balance, longer chassis, so Monterosso had to push too hard on that occasion.
And Monterosso now, who unfortunately slid off as we saw earlier, was up to second, now back to third and fighting back. Quick lap time, 1:13.07, so not quite enough, I think, and not enough laps left in this race.
And he's only running at about the same speed as the first two runners. He's also having to get through the cars, so I think it's very difficult for him to improve on his third position.
620 horsepower comes from this car. Back with the race winner, John Briggs. 1 lap to go as he crosses the start-finish line here at Sandown. Stopped on the warm-up lap. They had to start the car to get it started, so he had to thread his way through the field, come back to take his position, but didn't miss off the restart. 266 kilometres per hour from the laser technology speed gun down the front straight at Sandown, so they are a very quick motor car, Howard.
Yes, that's a police laser unit we're using. Hopefully they don't see those sorts of speed on the road too often.
Well, if they do, you can bet you'd be on a long holiday, courtesy of Her Majesty. But John Briggs now, under the Holden Bridge, back into Sandown circuit, nice and smooth, threading the car through the S's, comes down towards Dandenong Road corner, turns in nicely, not putting a wheel on.
As you said before, the car has been built and around for a long time. Briggs drives it very well. He knows this circuit very well. A good, smooth demonstration of how to win races.
So, they're on their last lap here at Sandown for round 3 of the White Horse Truck Parts Australian Sports Sedan Championship. If Briggs wins this, he'll continue to lead the series. There's the second place getter, Kerry Bailey in the Supra. And John Briggs takes the checkered flag at Sandown, takes out the Sports Sedan win, does it by some 9 seconds over second place getter Kerry Bailey. Monterosso will finish third, Bob Jolly in the Commodore fourth, and Danny Osborne in the little Mazda RX-7 fifth outright.
Let's confirm those placings now from the sports sedans. John Briggs first in the number 9, Kerry Bailey, Monterosso, Bob Jolly and Chris Clearahan. They were your top 5. After the sedans, of course, we'll have much more action for you from the Sandown 500, the big race day this afternoon, including...
Should be perhaps renamed the Carnage Cup.
Yes, indeed. This is a race just to watch. Technically, not a lot in it. It's skill-based, they tell me.
Skill-based, OK. Fairham away from pole position well. Challenge on the outside from Neville Haley. Richard White in there. Glenn McDonald, Richard Mork, Alex Saliba. Massive amount of HQ Holdens. Just about every taxi probably ever made in 1973 is out on this track. One on the inside there on the grass. Second gear around this part of the track. Only 3 gears. Original Holden gearbox. And up the back straight, they'll peak at around 180 kilometres per hour. But look at that enormous field here at Sandown. Wow, we've got a big pusher to shove back in the field. That's car number 4. Alex Saliba's gone around, and oh, big traffic jam behind him as they thread their way onto the grass. He's had a dig in the left-hand front, and they're all trying to weave and move their way around here, but the battle is right back at the front of the field now as they head down to XR corner. They obviously can't move the car quick enough, and a red flag is out to signal the end of the race. This is a restart of the Auto Track Automotive HQ Holdens race at Sandown. Green lights are on, so they're racing. Let's see how they get away this time. We lost Alex on the first lap, car number 4, and that stopped the race, but down to 47 cars as they head down under the Shell Bridge into turn number 1. Side by side goes car 74. Back to 47 cars, Howard Marsden. Let's see if they get through this time unscathed.
Yes, and unfortunately, one of the cars with a hand up means got a problem that could cause us another taxi dram at the back of the field, but boys are getting wiser. Maybe they'll get through. That's one of the good cars that's actually gone out, number 87.
Yes, problems with Glenn McDonald in car 87, so that's a shame. But back to second gear. So watch fairly your race leader. Big challenge now being thrown out between second and third. That's Mork and White. Mork in second, White third. But Fairlem is the one that's pulled out the gap. He's been leading the club HQ point score. Second in the state series. Been racing HQs for about 6 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nothing between certainly second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth as they go through XR. The last lap board now as they cross the start-finish line. Still only 1.2 seconds between Fairlem and Mork. Car 77, car 74. The battle for second and third here in the Auto Track Automotive HQ Holden race at Sandown. Really tightening up behind this battle too, Howard.
Desperate to try to get in right in the slipstream. Very important. The power's about the same in these cars. If you can get in right behind somebody's boot, then you can maybe pull out and get him just before you get into the braking area at the end of the front straight.
Davidson leads Fairlem in the New South Wales, or I should say the Victorian HQ Championship, by 5 points. Preston Haley third and fourth. But Fairlem's well and truly got him covered here at Sandown today. Heads up under the Holden sign. This 202 engine screaming at 5,000 revs. A move back further in the field. I think you'll find that's Wood making the challenge on White. And look, down the inside is car number 1. Davidson, he's the one we've been saying, watch this man. A great comeback drive. Started in 20th position. Look at him now. Through XR corner they go. Up to 4th position is car number 1, Keith Davidson.
Very important come through this left-hander for them, and we can expect to see them line abreast to try to get across the start-finish line, just going 1 position.
So as they head up towards the main straight for the last time, the Auto Track Automotive HQ Holden race. Full third gear onto the main straight. They'll rev to just over 6,000 revs, better than 160, 170 Ks, and Fairlem takes the checkered flag. Richard Fairlem takes the checkered flag from Richard Mork, and it's Wood that's moved into third spot in car 18, David Wood. Davidson, who started back in 20th, moved up to finish 4th outright, and Richard White 5th.
And recapping those results there, Fairlam from Mork, Wood and Davidson, a real crowd favourite here, the HQ Holdens at Sandown. Very, very competitive motorsport. We'll be back after the break. The big 500 is coming up shortly, but soon the open wheel action.
Sandown, green light underway. Dougal McDougall was on pole position. Todd Kelly alongside the young 16-year-old, and I think he's going to have the run to the corner, Jeff Brabham.
Yeah, it's always important this first corner, particularly in a Formula Ford race. They're very brave and young, and it looks like they're all going to make it through. That's a surprise. Okay, well, a lot more corners come before we get to the end of the first lap. But young Todd Kelly leading now from Dougal McDougall. Ashley Cutchy, Cameron Shearer, Dean Lindstrom, Christian Jones, son of Alan Jones, back there in the field too. Watch car 84, Michael Simpson, just going onto the main straight now. Finished 21st in qualifying, but drove through to 9th in yesterday's race. But this is your race leader, only 16 years of age. He's doing a tremendous job. Yeah, that's unbelievable to think a young man of 16 years old is is good enough at that early an age to be leading a race like this. He certainly has a great future ahead of him.
Look at McDougall, wants a challenge here, wants to challenge for the lead as they come up towards the XR corner. Through here goes Kelly. McDougall about 1 to 2 car lengths behind.
And Kelly's really out of shape. I mean, he's pushing really, really hard, and it's going to be interesting to see if he can keep back the advances of McDougall in the car behind, because when you're that young and you're leading a race like this, it's going to be a great test of his maturity to see if he can hang on.
Yeah, there's tremendous pressure on him, 16 years of age. And some other notables in the field too, starting from the back of the grid, Jason Bargwana, who had problems yesterday in the race when he went off in the first corner. However, he finished second in this year's drive at Formula Ford Series, has done very well. Watch him, oh, problems there. Left-hand front wheel crunched on one of the cars. Try and pick it up for you, but he's trying to get back to the pits, no doubt. So, no, it's car number 3, John Blanchard. So he drove for the Alan Jones team last year. This is his first drive in this car, a Spectrum, built by Michael Borland here in Melbourne. And unfortunately, on the replay, we'll see what happens. Yeah, Dandenong Road corner, there's been a car locked up in front of him, and you see there's 4 involved in that incident. And I'd say that Blanchard, who's been around a long time, was probably in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Problems further back in the field for car 67 too. But still leading the race, Dougal McDougall, and still under pressure too from Kelly. These little 16-year-old CC Ford engines have been around for a long time. The original base engine for the Ford Cortina, Ford Escort. They run a 5-speed Hewland transaxle. Can change the gear ratios, but a great category for up-and-comers. And you'll see a lot of Formula One world champions like Ayrton Senna, Nigel Mansell have come out of this category. A great category to progress in from go-karting.
Certainly is. It gives the drivers opportunity to drive a race car that they can change springs, shocks and roll bars, and it starts to give them the learning process that they need as they go on in their careers. And the technical expertise in setting up a race car in the end really makes the difference of whether or not a driver makes a success of his career or not. Because if you're fast but you don't have any experience setting up your car, you're always going to be at a disadvantage with somebody who is.
So they take the checkered flag here at Sandown for the John Davison Formula Ford Trophy, and McDougall takes the win from Kelly. Cutchy in 3rd spot. Scott Bargwanna, sorry, it's young Greg Ritter who's come through just to take 4th spot. What a great try for him. Bargwanna pushed back to 5th, Macro 6th, Richard 7th, Shearer 8th, Jones 9th, and Zerner rounds out the top 10.
Recapping the top 5, McDougall, Kelly, Cutchy, Ritter and Scott Bargwanna, as what's been a very successful Formula Ford series this weekend here at Sandown, and a lot of great talent for the future going on display.
And you can see this is a 10-lap race for Formula Holden. And this is the Holden Cup action back in the field. As we saw the field get away, but Jeff Brabham looked like plenty of action further back.
Yeah, it did. We've had 2 cars come off now already, and we only got round the first corner. But these cars are very difficult when the tyres are cold.
5 laps down now, and again Bright has a look down the outside of Stokell. Oh, very, very wiggly and wobbly under brakes. Stokel's doing the same, but it's got him covered again. Gee, they're evenly matched. And look now, Bright has a look down the outside of Stokell. Stokell again locks the brake, moves over, forces Bright in behind him.
Absolutely. I think what Bright's trying to do is he's just trying to move Stokell out of position, get on the bumps on the inside so he doesn't come off the corner quite as well. And he's trying to duck down the inside and get him on the next one. But here's a big challenge here, and I think he might be in a good position here. If he could just get a little bit further up alongside, he'll have the inside running. But I don't think Stokell's going to back off for a minute, and doesn't.
Once a very impressive performance this weekend, young Paul Stokell, to try and secure a better drive next year in Group A or Super Touring. So it's a very important race to him, even though he won this year's Australian Drivers' Championship for the 3rd time in a row. Mark Scape, of course, also came out of this category and has won this championship 3 times over the years. Very high-tech race cars, carbon fibre. Some of the older cars in the field are running the earlier aluminium chassis. But they'll take the start-finish line now with 4 laps to go.
And Bright's got half a car length in front now, so if he could just hold that line. No, he can't quite do it. Stokel's doing a good job under the bumps in the braking area right there and covering his line very well.
Gee, how good's Bright. He's really got the car speed of his, Jeff. He's got the car speed down the straight. Stokell is very defensive in his lines and not giving him an inch.
No, that's right, and I'm sure Jason Bright's looking for a good result here to carry that momentum over to the United States when he goes over there. So he's really trying to put on a good show in front of all the fans here, and particularly the 5-litre cars teams, because he doesn't know where his career is going to go right now, and he could easily be back in Australia trying to get a 5-litre ride or a 2-litre ride. So he's really trying to do well right now.
Paul Stokell, still your race leader, from Jason Bright, hoping to secure an Indy drive at the Gold Coast IndyCar Grand Prix next year is Bright. Been talking to the Derek Walker IndyCar team, has secured a test in Indy Lights and an IndyCar itself, and hopes, as you mentioned earlier, Jeff, to progress and do very well overseas.
Well, his performances, particularly in the oval race, he's on the inside line here. I think he has a very good chance of making the lead here, and here he goes.
Yes, look at Jason Bright on the inside of Stokel this time as they cross the start-finish line with 2 laps to go. And Stokel on the outside, right on the inside, and the skill car gets through nicely and worked for that for the last few laps. Stokel comes back at him on the inside. Side by side, they've touched. Yes, both gone. Wow.
Well, I think that was a pretty ambitious move by Stokel to try and stick your nose in that particular corner, because there's definitely only one line through there, but certainly a lot of action, and it's a pity that that wasn't the last corner of the race, because we certainly had a good race going there.
Well, you would know they were teammates, would you? I wonder how Malcolm Ramsey, the car owner, feels about this.
Well, it's, you know, Bright got a good early move coming down past the start-finish line, was able to get on the inside, got through, but then Stokel came back at him in the next corner. But I think that was a pretty ambitious move, because there certainly wasn't enough room there. Here we go. He just tucks his nose in there, doesn't quite get alongside, and they hook wheels, and around they go. It's like synchronized swimming there. They're both spinning.
Well, the interesting thing is that Stokel actually got started again and is still in second spot, but this is your new race leader, Jason Bargwanner, who's done a tremendous job to come through from third to first, but Stokel not that far behind him. On the last lap we are. This is Stokel, only 0.7 of a second behind in car number 1. Desperate now to claw back and try and lead this Holden Cup at Sandown. Can he do it on the last lap?
Well, he's probably not quite close enough, so all Bargwanner has to do is cover his line going into the braking areas, and I think he's pretty safe, but Stokel definitely had the fire in his eyes today. He wasn't prepared to lose to anybody, and if he can get close enough, we should see some more action.
Down to Ford corner as they go through now. On their last lap, Paul Stokel second, Bargwanner leading, Pate back in third. You can see Adam Kaplan in fourth. Then further back to Stephen Cramp and Darren Edwards. But down towards the Dunlop Bridge for the last time, Bargwanner gets it sideways, under power as he comes off the main straight one more time. And this will just about be Jason Bargwanner's first Formula Holden win after coming out of Formula Ford, which is really a tremendous achievement. Takes the win from Paul Stokel, Darren Pate third, Adam Kaplan fourth. You'll find Stephen Cramp fifth, Darren Edwards back in sixth spot.
Yeah, big day for the Bargwanner brothers. In fact, Stokel there, Bright, Bargwanner third this time, Pate and Cramp. They were your top 5. Of course, the big V8s are revving up and ready for the Sandown 500. We will be too. Join us after the break for the big race.